This is a podcast about the
Two men who have dabbled.
Two men who have dabbled in spirituality, books about spirituality and mainly the sort of Buddhist type of leanings, shall we say, and you've been on a course. What it isn't is two people who've spent their lives dedicated to this and are massively into it.
Are you trying to make clear to the listeners now, listeners, that we are not experts?
Yes, I think it's important that we say this is to me the key element of what this podcast is about. I'm torn between really wanting to buy into the world that I'm currently reading about and interested in and the things we'll be talking about, whilst at the same time well aware that we are a couple of media arseholes who've got little else to do to get into spirituality.
Agreed.
Because it's also true that as we are approaching, or have indeed surpassed middle-aged...
Oh, I thought you could say death then.
That we are also other box tickings for media idiots, aren't we? We are both vegetarian stroke vegans, and we don't drink alcohol. I mean, yes. We are. If we'd have had
we
this
are the cliche.
25 years ago, we'd have gone. Really? Is that what we become?
As long as we don't turn into those people, we'll be all right.
Yeah, and we are those people.
Yeah.
Now, have we seen the light, or have we just become those people? I don't know.
Or both.
That's interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Is Buddhism real, or are we a pair of wankers? I think it should be the name of the show. For now, we're going to talk about the power of now being a big influence in the fact that we want to talk about this. Not necessarily a big influence in our lives, but it's made an interesting impact in our lives, hasn't it?
Yes.
So the question is do you know how old, without Googling it, Eckhart Tolle is?
Oh.
How old do you think he is?
I'd say he is 68.
Well, you see, you've slightly spoilt it now. Because I thought you'd say, like me, that he was late 50s.
And he's 68.
72. Now, I find that fascinating that he's 72, because he looks so young to me. And I wonder if that's a lifetime of being spiritually connected and calm.
I think it's probably a makeup and a nice photo, isn't it? I don't know. Like, he was, according to the Eckhart folklore, for people who don't know, he was like a homeless man who had some kind of conversion or epiphany, where he suddenly realised that everything that we need is right now. You are not your mind. I'd say Eckhart Tolle's worldview in a sentence is you are not your mind.
I would agree with that.
You exist above your mind, and your mind is
When I say I would
distracting.
agree with it, I wouldn't like to say I agree with that profound statement. I'm saying I agree with what you just said as a summary.
Yeah, that's a summary of it. Like, it's a very reductive summary of his beliefs. Although it's not that reductive. He's spun several books out of what could probably be summed up in a kind of chapter, I reckon.
Well, you just summed it up in a sentence.
Well, there you go. Maybe, but there's not. The other thing that we're interested in is that you know, the kind of capitalism of selling these ideas, and he has to spin it out into books and tea towels to make money.
I also think that an interesting thing that it completely goes against the beliefs of what Eckhart Tolle is saying, that we're not our mind. He also says we're not our bodies, you know, we're not our, you know. But so I'm now going to mention something about his body, particularly his face, which is that he's got one of those beards where they keep the beard but you don't have a moustache.
Yeah.
Which is never a good look, is it?
No.
And
it's a kind of Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, it's not particularly not a good
look
if you've got a face like his, which is very round.
Yeah.
Because you're effectively outlining the round circle, aren't you?
Yeah.
So now his round face has been more highlighted by the fact that he's got a round circle round his face.
So are you saying he says you are not your body? You'd say you are not your body if you had a face like that?
I would say, hey Eckhart, lovely to meet you. You've got a very funny round face, but you know, you of all people know it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You're not your body.
Doesn't matter. It also doesn't help that his nostrils are perfectly central to his face, because then that wheel really does look like a wheel.